Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Almost Martha. And today I am going to be making a coffee cake. I need a coffee cake. I'm going to be taking it somewhere tomorrow. And Mark has been away, so he gets home tomorrow, and I want to have something nice and sweet waiting for him, you know, in addition to me. So I'm going to make a coffee cake. And this is a King Arthur coffee cake made with King Arthur flour. And I found this recipe a few months ago and made it. It was so good. It was really, really good, nice and moist and everything you want in a coffee cake. So hang on, and we're going to make together the King Arthur coffee cake. This coffee cake has both a filling and a topping. So we're going to start with the topping. So I have 1 cup of King Arthur flour. I have 1 cup of sugar. I'm just going to pour that right in there. So you know that lovely crunchy topping that you get on coffee cakes. Well, this is what we're making. And 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Okay, come on. Big old thing of cinnamon. 1 tablespoon. Perfect. Don't you love this tablespoon? It goes right in like anything. All of these are like these long, flat ones. They can get into any jar. It's really great. Sometimes the big round ones, they just don't work. So it's a handy thing. All right, so I've got 1 tablespoon cinnamon, 1 cup flour, 1 cup sugar. Now I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of melted butter. And I used regular salted butter, so I don't have to add salt into the recipe. So all this butter in there. All the bittery goodness. So it's going to, you want this to kind of clump up, because this is going to be that topping that you put all over the top of the cake. So you can see those nice crumb coffee cakes, that topping, that's what we're kind of doing here. So, very nice. Okay, looks good. Oh, I forgot my apron. Okay, so now we're going to put the topping aside, and we're going to make the filling. So this is what's going to go in between the batter. So we have 1 cup of brown sugar that has been firmly packed. So now you just got to unpack it. You got to unpack it. Whoops. I know, I'm always flinging things around, aren't I? Okay, so now we go back to our cinnamon. We're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of cinnamon. That's a teaspoon. I don't have a 1/2 tablespoon. Kind of weird it says it that way, right? So I'm just going to gauge it. All right, that's about a 1/2. Perfect. And now 1 teaspoon of cocoa. Now the cocoa is in there really to add color to the filling. And I was kind of skeptical, because the first time I made it, I thought, oh, it's going to taste chocolatey. I really don't want chocolate in the coffee cake. And you can't even taste it. So it does make the filling have a richer color, but adding the cocoa is totally optional. You don't have to add it, but it does give it a nicer color, so you can see that band of the, filling going through the cake. So now we're just gonna mix this up. Get that sugar all kind of chopped up. Okay. Nicely incorporated. Okay. So now we're gonna make the cake. Okay. For the cake, this is a little different in how this is put together. So there's 12 tablespoons of butter. I just used regular salted butter. So I'm going to add just 1 teaspoon of salt right in with the butter. I have 1.5 cups of sugar in here. We're going to put that in here as well. And I'm just going to start, I'm going to lift this up. And we'll start mixing it all together. And I have, I think, a small 1/3 cup of brown sugar, tightly packed. No, it's tightly packed, all right. Okay. And, oh, I did my salt, and there's a lot of baking powder that goes in this. So this is like 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, which seems like a lot. However, it's a really big cake. We're going to put it in a 9 by 13 pan. So there's 1, 2, and I think I need my glasses. 2.5. It comes to me eventually. And that goes right in. So we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. One, 2, and just a little to grow on because I like vanilla. All right, let's cream this all together. Looks pretty creamed. We're going to start adding in the eggs. There's 3 eggs. Just kind of drop them in one at a time. I went ahead and just broke them in something separate. So, y'all know I don't trust myself putting the eggs right in here. So add them one at a time. And then we also have a 3/4 cup of sour cream. You could use yogurt if you wanted to. Sour cream at about room temperature. This is sort of room temperature. All right. All right, it's coming together now. All right, to my mixture, I'm going to add 1.25 cups of milk. Now, I'm going to start to put my flour in. It's a lot of flour. It's 3 3/4 cups of flour. Makes a big cake of my 13. Just let that mix a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of make sure everything gets in here. But I think our cake is about ready to put in the pan. If you have a nice 13 by 9 pan, you can use that. But you can also use 2 round cake pans. So if you don't have, you know, that big oblong pan, you can just use 2 regular cake pans. So just give it a final little swirl here. Okay. You want to be careful, probably not to overmix. So let me scrape this beater off. First, I have to detach it. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay. All good. All good. You know, I totally tasted that. So I was taking a sink. I can't help myself. Can't help myself. Ooh, it tastes good. That batter tastes pretty darn good. It's always good if you've got batter on here to wipe it off immediately so it doesn't come glue on there. So here's my 13 by 9. I'm going to spray generously with Pam. It says lightly greased, but I'm gonna spray a little generously. And now I'm gonna put half my batter, probably about 3 cups worth, in the bottom. Maybe a tad more. We're just gonna let that spread out. There we go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Maybe just not really half, maybe just a little more. Okay. Let that kind of sink in. Now we have our filling. So our filling is the little cocoa mixture here. So I'm just gonna put this in the middle. Don't be afraid of it. Yes, it's a lot. I know, but believe me, your favorite part's the topping and the filling, right? So I'm gonna sprinkle it generously around the pan. Perfect. Okay. Now we take our remaining batter and we just pour that right on top. Get it all around best you can. You know, try to get it all up to the corners. Because we want we want that to be the filling. So in that case, we gotta kind of try to cover it up a little bit. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. I know, I'm splattering. I know. Get to the corner. You just gotta be artsy where you drop it. A little more left. You don't want to waste any. Oh, this is going to be so good. You know, I know you can buy really good coffee cakes. I know, but there's nothing like homemade stuff. It's just so good and so fresh, you know. Makes a big difference. Whoop. I am slinging it everywhere. So good. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Now, before we add the topping, we're going to take a knife and we're going to swirl this coffee cake because you want it to have that filling kind of swirly. Don't mix it all the way through. That's not what we're looking to do, but we are looking to swirl it in the cake just a little bit. You don't want too much. Okay, that's great. Now, we add our topping. We are gonna add this in. Gonna just sprinkle this on in. Get it all over the top. This is like the best part, right? That crunchy topping, that buttery, lovely topping. Remember, there's like 6 tablespoons of butter in this topping, so it's gonna get lovely and crunchy and delicious. So just seal up sort of the edges, the ends. Make sure you get that topping kind of evenly. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Looks really beautiful, doesn't it? It hasn't even baked yet. Okay, so my oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. Just wiping up the sides there. Then I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm just going to put it right in the oven. I just pulled this from the oven. Doesn't that look wonderful? Oh, that topping looks so great. It looks so great. I'm going to put it on a wire rack. Let's give it a second. I'm going to take a knife, and I'm just going to make sure that that knife comes out nice and clean. So there you go. It did bake for about 55 minutes. And now I'm just going to let this cake cool completely because I do want to slice it. I'll put it on a nice little plate to take with me tomorrow. But yeah, here's our coffee cake. So this is the great King Arthur coffee cake. If you want the recipe, you can just go to almost-martha.com and you'll be able to find it there, and along with all the other recipes that I've made. So I hope you try it. Hi, Mom. Hope you're good. Had a little snow here today. But yeah, this is a great thing to have on a Sunday morning, a Saturday morning. Coffee cake with a little cup of coffee. So this will be just perfect for tomorrow. Boy, sure smells good. Hope you try it. That's almost-martha.com. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Okay, bye guys. Oh, it smells so good.